he has gotten that southeast position up and running. I don't know if it doesn't look like he's trying to get the natural expansion yet. The same going for Leta. He's taking the northwest expansion, but that natural is still available. And once again, this is still the lingering part of standard TVD play, where it's all about map control and expanding everywhere and denying expansion. It looks like, as I'm saying that, Leta is putting down the command center at that natural expansion of the south, or excuse me, the northwest position. So if he gets that up, and if he's able to continue denying this base, he might be able to go 2 bases up ahead of Light, and so during this time he should be able to macro up a ton of troops, and this is what he needs to be doing, because I gotta imagine he's getting close to being maxed at the moment, and he just needs to just throw some of these tanks and throw some of those dropships full of Goliaths, just like he's doing, to break down some of this some of these defenses from Light. If you can capitalize on those on the economic lead you build up, then you're just going to further cement that lead. And a nice little drop position there by Leta behind those minerals is actually being very difficult for Light to get forces back there. So Leta being able to do a good amount of damage with that, and even though he lost all that entire force and didn't do a terribly huge amount of damage, he has been able to deny that natural expansion for a little while, and he does have a better economy. He's got that natural expansion, so he is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases, I think, while Light is at 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe he has set up that 5th one. So Leta should be, excuse me, I bumped my little pop blocker. Anyways, Leta should be ahead just a little bit right now. It looks like that command center is over there, so it looks like Leta is actually 2 bases ahead, because Light has not been able to land that base at the western position. Light going in with a big dropship force and trying to retake the map position over in the center of their map, but still, there's probably no way that he's going to be able to take that expansion. But still, he's able to clear out a couple of those tanks that were in there, laying some defense. Leta deciding to let that force live for now, and Light's going to be able to get a little bit of extra map control, and that is very tank heavy with absolutely no other backup forces. So if there's some Goliaths and Vultures in those dropships that Leta has, he might be able to just drop a couple Vultures and Goliaths in there and have most of those tanks from Light just kill themselves. Also, if he's able somehow to manage to drop a couple of spider mines, that could be very devastating to that group of tanks. And here you see, like, Leta's first-person position. He has, he has just such great control of the map. Apart from that little splotch of red right in the center that Light has just taken, he is, he really controls the whole interior of the map. This map is set up with those 4 bridges around the 4 corner starting positions, and then, a couple of hills or whatever protecting the cardinal direction expansions. And, so it leaves this kind of diamond in the middle of, or maybe just kind of a circle, I guess, because the north and south. But anyways, it leaves this little area in the middle that's basically all wide open that we're looking at right here. It looks like Light is actually once again trying to take that expansion. He is finally moving out and clearing out those forces that were defending and denying that western expansion, so that western expansion is going to be put down by Light, but he is also trying to retake that position in the middle of the map, and really I think it's going to be just like before. It's just going to be wasted resources. A big drop, however, coming on this southeast expansion, and Light has absolutely no forces here to defend. Okay, maybe there are a little bit over that were hanging out over there near the natural expansion, but he's already lost a lot of SCVs. Leta being able to siege up right on top of that command center, still keeping a couple of those siege tanks out there to try to defend the ones that are already sieged, and the command center goes down, so Leta taking out one of those bases. So Light is in a good bit of trouble right now, because he's been playing a little bit behind in all of oh my god. I was saying he's been playing like 1.5 bases sort of behind. I just can't help but laughing. Sorry. Light has been playing a base and a half behind for a long time, and after losing that base, he is in a good amount of trouble, and you can see that trouble because this is turning into exactly that matchup between Leta and Firebat Hero, which is the last TVT we've seen on Sparkyz cast on Fighting Spirit, and in that match, I mean, just like this one, Leta had a slight economic lead for a long time and slowly built up on that lead, and it did exactly this, denied expansion and then built a dozen starports. So Leta going for a huge amount of wraiths in the very near future. He is getting a little bit of pressure put on him in that northwest expansion, but I think he will be able to hold it. He does have siege tanks kind of lined up in a nice deep progression of tanks just over that bridge, so it's going to be very costly for Light to push into that. Light, however, has been able to keep that expansion in the center of the map up for a little while. He's still not mining fully on it. I don't know if he wants to risk moving a lot of SCVs over into that area. I think he's just going to be producing them from that one command center because it is very vulnerable. And it looks like already a dozen wraiths coming out from that huge group of starports, and really there's not going to be much that Light can do once this once this wraith force decides to attack. He's only got a couple of Goliaths. He hasn't really been building Goliaths the way that Leta had early in the game, and you know, all of his tanks of course can't attack these wraiths. He's got a couple of missile turrets in the area, but those are mainly to defend against dropships. So all of his dropships and all of his tanks are going to be very exposed and very in danger. It looks like the second wave of wraiths is probably going to pop in just a minute and be out there, and Leta is he's feeling pretty confident, I guess. Oh yeah, there we go. There's at least another half of a control group of wraiths. A little hard to say because he hasn't quite grouped them together yet, but at least well over a control group, probably closing in on 2 control groups of wraiths. And I don't think Light has any idea of this. I don't think he's scanned it yet either, because if he had, he probably would be building a lot more Goliaths. But so far he is sticking with his tank army pretty much. He's actually stopped production a little bit. I don't know if it looks like his main and his natural have been mined out, so he is down 2 bases on account of that. It looks like he was putting a couple of turrets down just to defend, but oh, he is losing, it looks like 3, almost 4. Yes, all of those dropships getting picked off by that group of cloaked wraiths, and that is the awesomest way ever to expose that you've been building a ton of wraiths, is to already cloak them, move them over some turrets that are building, and just wipe out a whole group of dropships. And Leta right now, that is just the first control group of wraiths. They're already going to be able to take that missile down that missile turret and probably all 5 of those tanks. And there's nothing that Light can do about it, really. Leta's going to be able to... Oh my! But he has built Valkyries. That is certainly unexpected. And those Valkyries are going after all of these dropships by Leta. So Leta's actually going to lose all of these dropships. He is able to manage to get out a few of those forces from the dropships, so he is going to be able to drop on top of all of these, on top of this base in the southeast. But maybe those wraiths aren't going to be such a great idea. It looks like Light has been able to, or did watch the match against Firebat Hero, where Leta made all of these wraiths, all of these starports and all of these wraiths, so coming out with Valkyries and a TVT, that's oof, all sorts of unexpected stuff going on today. Unfortunately, I don't think those Valkyries have done as much damage as they need to for their cost. They were able to take out a couple of those dropships, but most of the dropships were able to unload, and I think the Wraith Force is still around. I haven't really seen what he's been doing with that main control group of wraiths. Maybe it was killed off by something, but so far he was just Light was just attacking those dropships, and Light has still taken this this middle Andromeda style expansion at the middle of the map, and I'm really surprised that Leta is not doing anything about it. It looks like Leta was maybe clearing up some supply, killing off a group of